Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you also to you, Representative Krishnamurthy, Chairman Krishnamurthy, for your leadership on these issues. I know you've been advocating and leading on these issues for a number of years, just to have basic equality in all our workplaces.
Thank you.
Chairman Goodell, I'm of course, 49ers fan. I represent Silicon Valley. And I'm a fan not just of the team on the field, but I am sure you know Hannah Gordon there, who's a senior executive. And she has participated on a number of panels, actually, in Silicon Valley about creating a workplace that empowers women, about making sure that women have equal pay, about tackling issues of childcare, about tackling issues of discrimination. And she's, I think, extraordinary. She's really helped shape the culture of the 49ers. And so my question for you is, do you look at clubs like the 49ers and extraordinary leaders like Hannah Gordon in seeing what best practices may be for all the clubs in the league?
We absolutely do. Hannah Gordon was actually a former employee of ours. She is outstanding. She is a true professional. She made a difference here in our organization, and she's doing that again with the 49ers. I have nothing but respect for her. But as part of the changes that have happened over the last several years is an elevation, I would call it, of sharing of best practices amongst all our clubs from this office as well as the 32 clubs. As we stated earlier, they all have their own workforces and workplaces. Those are their prerogative, but we do believe that understanding and sharing is an important element to making sure we have better workplaces. We also, at the league level, have had many times where we require certain training mechanisms. Some of that came out of 2014 with respect to domestic violence and sexual assault. All personnel are required to go through annual training. In addition, we've made sure that sexual harassment is a requirement of all personnel in the NFL. That includes clubs, leagues, owners, commissioners, so that we can do everything we possibly can to make sure that our workforces are and workplaces are safe and people have a full understanding of what's expected of them.
I appreciate that, and I hope you'll look not just to Hannah Gordon and the leadership on issues of gender equity, but the 49ers in my district have provided STEM education for people left out. I guess my point, Chairman Goodell, is I know people are focused on the legal issues, but you know this better than I do, that if you look at the top 3 or 4 shows that the American public watch, I was shocked when I realized this. It's Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. NCIS is the only one that competes. And I think you would agree that given the cultural significance of the NFL, and I grew up as a football fan, many of us on Congress are football fans, I think there's a higher bar where what you do really matters to shaping the culture of the nation. And I guess my request, my plea to you would be to realize that responsibility, obviously on issues of gender, of issues of equality, of issues of helping get young people involved in STEM and education, and just realize that, you know, you have a huge platform and make a big difference to the culture of the country. And that's, I think, the spirit of these hearings, as opposed to some legalistic dispute. Is just what can you do with the platform you have?
Congressman, I could not agree with you more. We take that responsibility seriously. We understand the impact we have in our communities as well as nationally and even globally. And that's why we have worked hard to try to meet that standard. We're not perfect, but we work hard to, whenever we see something that we can improve on, we dig in and we do our best to make sure that we're a leading voice and an institution that people can look to say, they're doing things the right way. And I appreciate your comments. It's well beyond gender, to your point. It's diversity in general. It's making sure that we do everything in our communities, including making sure that our communities are addressing the difficult issues that some of you have talked about today, and making sure that our teams are playing an active force in some of that, whether it's our work on how do we get people to vote, Our clubs are actively using their facilities, are actively using their platform in which to encourage people to get out and vote.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. And now I'm going to be calling on Mr.